Well, good evening and welcome to a walk down memory lane. I'm here with members of Young Man Social Club. First of all, let's introduce yourself, starting with you, madam.
I'm Susie Clark.
Susie Clark.
Fred Lewis.
Okay.
Troy Lewis.
Okay. Well, first of all, again, thank you for joining this evening. Um, let's start with you, Ms. Clark. What got you involved in this particular club, and when did you get involved with this club?
I got involved by meeting Irene Roach. She took me to one of her softball games at the National at Naval Station in Somerset,
Uh-huh.
and I got to like it. After I started liking it, I came downtown, started training at Nationals, the early Nationals,
Hmm.
just with a bunch of girls. Until one day we met Chico Francis,
Okay.
and he asked us, "Oh, would you like to get involved?" We all said yes. He took us down to Frog Lane, and we started playing down there with the Rangerettes.
Okay.
So from that day, I was a Rangerette,
Okay.
and we played with the Rangerettes for a couple of years. Sorry.
Yeah, good.
We played with Rangerettes for a couple of years until Chico felt to himself that we needed a club and we needed a name
Hmm.
because we were the young ones that were coming in, and the old ones, they were beginning to stop coming out.
Okay.
So he got us involved with Social Club. Uh, After he got us into the club, brought us up here on a meeting and told us that he had gotten us into this club. So we all got excited. And we started training at the Bassett,
Hmm.
and that was supposed to be our field, but it was too quiet down there. We didn't like it. So he took us at the Casarina,
Okay.
and that was too far out for us. So he brought us down to um, North Village Field,
Right.
Okay.
Hmm.
which was Bernard Park. It was not North Village then.
Right.
And we started training there. And that was our home after that, best home.
Okay.
And our training sessions was very nice. We all enjoyed our training sessions.
Hmm.
We all got involved with Chico. Chico talked to us all the time and explained a lot to us that we didn't know, because a lot of us didn't know softball.
Right.
And when we had our first game was at Bernard Park. Our first game was at the Devonshire. We played at Devonshire for a couple of years,
Right.
plenty years. And we began, first 2 seasons was very hard, but we got to know all about softball after that. And
You remember who your first game was against?
um, like I can't even say if it was Diamondettes or Warwick Workmans. Because then we had Warwick Workmans, we had the Zebraettes, we had Diamondettes, um, the St. George's girls. They were called Reds, I think, Red something.
Okay.
Reds. And we had some Davis girls.
Okay.
Um, we played them for a couple of years until they stopped playing. Social Club was telling them who was to the club.
Okay.
Letting them know. So our two top teams were Diamondettes. Diamonds and Eaglets.
Right.
That was our two top teams.
Let me ask you, what were the colors of your uniforms back there?
And our first uniform was blue and yellow, that was green dress.
Mm-hmm.
And then social club was blue and white. And then we went into the light blue and blue, I think. So,
Okay. Okay.
light blue and blue.
Okay.
Blue stripes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me move over to Mr. Lewis. Obviously, everyone knows you from around this club. You spent a lot of time here. What drew you to this club, or why did you start here, or what brought you to this club?
Actually, my two little brothers used to play junior football. I've been coming around it since I was going primary school. This room here used to be the training pitch. This used to be a pitch, play football, and we used to, the young guys, Larry Jar, myself, Cody, all the guys come and watch them sit on the wall right there, watch the senior team train and all that. And that's when they used to play no balls above the knee. And you pass the ball, no ball goes above the knee. And that's so they, Mr. Ford and some other guys, they arranged with Bombardiers. We used to play they're under 14, because they didn't have no under 14 league at the time.
Right.
So clubs was arranged to earn games with Bombardiers. They had the Johnny Newsom, his brother Eugene Shirley was playing for them. We used to play every Thursday out to Katrina Park, rain, blow, sun. If it rained, we used to take a wheelbarrow and a shovel and shovel the water up the field and take it over to the pond and dump it in the pond. Yep. And we used to go up out there to watch them train. Normally, time they used to train on the park. The
Right.
seniors, we know Village Field is now, it used to be a little place there. That's what social club seniors used to train at sometimes. And I just kept following, we guys following everywhere. We ran to our games to see them play, you know. And then days we couldn't get any junior league because I had my brother Mel, had all his other guys still. So we just content playing on Thursdays, but we went on the park to play or came watch social club seniors play, came into the meetings. They allowed us coming to the meetings, sit in the back and be quiet, just listen. That's how I learned a lot about football and things that you have to do in order to make yourself a little better than others. And one night, Social Club was playing out BA, and I had just finished running the cross country for Barkley for the intermediates, and came up here and they told me I'm playing.
Oh,
That's my first game.
you remember who that was against?
North Village.
Okay.
Yep, BA. And at that time, if you was a junior and you played for the senior team, I think more than twice, you couldn't, or something like you couldn't play. You couldn't play for the juniors no more.
Right.
So they gave me one game. Yeah, a few weeks later, I got another game, so I had to wait till next season. And then after that, two sort of trial seasons, I ended up making the side, senior side.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's move over to the other Lewis. You would have remembered coming around and seeing your dad and others play. What was those times like for you watching, the players play ahead of you?
Well, way ahead of me for one day. But the things I remember when I was young, I could see that the players really enjoyed being around each other. I used to come here every time before games. They were here early. They used to play table tennis and joke around before they started to get ready for the games. So, I mean, if I look at today's time, if the game was 3 o'clock, I think we would come around here like 10:30, and they were here from 10:30, 10 o'clock, maybe even earlier than that. just talking. So you could see it as more of a family unit than just coming to play football. Football was just the time they spent together to compete, but they actually looked at it for the whole day.
Mm.
They spent the whole day together, and I think they look forward to that. I mean, I recall a lot of times, them massaging each other just to make sure everybody's ready, or the different talks. That's what I remember, and those were the things that you can emulate from people who respected and loved the game, but also loved each other.
Mm. Mm. Well, let me come back to you because listening to the two Lewis's talk about training and so forth, but you like would have played a lot of night games, wouldn't that have been the case in softball? Yeah. So what was the time like? I mean, obviously you have work, knock off from work, you're racing home to get kids ready or whatever, and then it's to
No
softball.
kids.
No kids there. You, but what about everybody else?
No kids.
No kids there. Okay. All right, but still, you had a lot to do.
Well,
Making sure those times where you were on time for the games. How difficult was that back then?
well, I don't think it was difficult because we all made our time, 5:30, and we trained to like about 8 o'clock nights. We had training session like four nights a week. Sometimes we had to have 3 nights a week.
Mhm.
And when we did train, we put our head right into the game.
Mm.
There was no playing around or nothing like that. You heard Chica's mouth. Now look, I didn't come down here for this. Let's go. I
Right.
want you to train. I want you to get into it. We had Dennis Hart later on in the year, and he was the same way.
Mm.
Um, like I said, our training to us girls meant a lot because we all enjoyed being together. We did everything together. And when we trained, we were there to train.
Right.
And when we want to play the field, we did that at the club.
Right. Right.
But other than the softball games nightly, the games were 7 o'clock
Uh-huh.
and 9 o'clock.
Right.
We had to be there no later than 6. We got there, we got warmed up, and after we got warmed up, 7 o'clock was 7 o'clock. They never was late playing the games.
Mm.
And our uniforms, we better look like we're playing. You had to have your uniforms.
Right.
Um,
So I remember when softball was played at Devonshire Rec, but being on the field, what was the atmosphere like as a player? Because you've got all these people standing around, looking over you.
Yes, when you look at Devonshire Rex Field
Uh,
and you look on top of the hill and you see all those people up there making noise,
right.
you don't believe it, especially at the first time.
Mm.
You don't believe to see the people, the noise, the children, because they brought their children to see the game.
Mhm.
And they all got involved. Everybody had a team fan.
Mm.
You played your game and don't put your mind up there too much because you got people around looking at you because you'll never be able to play your game.
Right.
But we got used to playing with a lot of people, even when we had tours.
Uh,
You got to know how to play with a lot of people.
sure. Mr. Lewis, talking about that, those Thursday afternoons, I mean, what were those like?
Well, we run from school out there. Sometimes we had to line the field, and basically we didn't have no time. We just played. Sometimes no half time. We
Mm.
just swap players in and out until it got dark. Then we go come back around the club, but we had to stay out here. We couldn't go in the club during on Wednesdays because that was our junior nights,
Uh,
right? And that was from I think about 5:30 to about 8:39, and you couldn't go nowhere in the bar.
right.
Yeah, stand out. It's a window out there. You just have bars. You just stand there and get your uh, gingerbread sodas or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah. And like I said, after we finish playing our team, just come around here, sit on the wall, play more football around here, talk about things.
Mm.
And like some said, all right, we stayed together. It was like a family. We went everywhere together. You never saw one guy walking by himself,
Mm.
at least five,
Right, right.
you know? And we got that from more from when we were sitting with the senior team, because they were all together. They used to run every Monday after a game, win, lose, or draw. They would run. Come around here, tables like this, lay on it, rub down each other, talk, you know. If I'm rubbing you down, I tell you, look, man, this is what I think, done wrong in the game and that. And we just discuss it. Then we have a meeting. Everybody have a meeting, say the piece. I think that's how they end up being such a good team, because they knew each other just by looking and see what movements they done. That's how close they were.
You said at the beginning, you said, you followed your older brothers. Getting in the team behind them, obviously family, immediate family. What were those times like?
Well, see, my brother Mal was in the team then, but my other two brothers, the other brothers, had going.
Right.
My brother Albert had gone away to play professional football. Leroy had gone PAC.
Right.
Okay? And so, but I had to follow behind my brother from even down Central,
Ah.
because we only used to have one pair of boots, so we never could play together. Yeah, he played the B, I played the C. When he went A, I went B. I only went A when he left Central, because I had the boots now. So, and that's was it. Yeah.
Who had the bigger foot? Because clearly he's
No, same.
see? Oh, how lucky were you?
I felt the same. Hey, just push the foot in at the hard twist too.
Right. Well, let me ask you, were the magic in the boots or in the player?
I put my magic in. He put his in. We sort of do it, but he put it in. You know?
Yeah.
And that's when you had about 300-400 people down there watching primary school game.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah. Troy, when you look back at how the club was built, I mean, you have ladies in the club, you have men in the club, and you have youth in the club. Looking back then, how strong did it make the community and the club itself?
Well, I think when Members Club, even throughout the whole island, are strong, the community is strong. I think when I look at the makeup and the location of many clubs, I believe the forefathers were very strategic in where they decided to make their homes. And it wasn't so much as the building, but it's the location. Just like you say in marketing, location, location, location.
Yeah.
I think having Search Club in this location allowed many other clubs and other organizations and people to flourish. So if from the history and the things that I know, many clubs have benefited from Search Club being in this area. So many other clubs have evolved from Social Club.
Mm.
So Dandy Town is one of the clubs that got a lot of youth players from Social Club. Boulevard, Middletown when they had it, North Village, Colts, all of them, they got a lot of players from this area here. And so I think as I look back, I think they knew exactly why they put it here. And not because the club was just about sports, but it was close enough to also be there for the people that may be going on the wrong path, and they can find a safe haven or somewhere where they can get guidance if they need it, so it's close enough.
Mm. Mm. So give us a sense of some of the ladies that were involved in your initial team at Social Club.
Shake your head.
All right, you want to bring on from out there?
Yeah.
Me?
No, good, yeah.
Our initial team was
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Social Club Jets. Social Club Jets were the Simmons sisters, Claudette and Rosalind.
Uh-huh.
Then we had Charlene Can, and we had
She said that's what
In which day?
I was trying to go on.
Oh,
I-
yeah.
oh, you,
Yeah, I was trying to get out. What is it? It's Miss Pearman, who's sitting across.
First base,
My first baseman,
Yeah.
left hand.
left, her mouth used to get on me, so I became a good girl.
Okay, all right. So we're joined by none other than the great one. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm good, I'm good.
Good, good. Good to see you.
Yes.
Welcome. Obviously,
Even cooler.
what's that?
And he's trying to call her name.
Okay. Obviously, you've listened to some of the things that's been said. How did you get to Social Club?
From the juniors come up, because we used to just stay around the corner there and around Middletown. So it was easy. Social Club was the home.
Right.
My brother Leroy and my brother Halsey, and it came down. I came in, and the biggest brother left, second biggest going away. So I was left here until my brother Fred came,
Right.
and we started. But I started off in the juniors with, let me see, pictures long time ago of some of the old fellas. This is, but my football was good at Social Club until I became blocks. When I became blocks, I took a lot of abuse in Bermuda.
Mm.
But I hurt a lot of our teams. When they call me names, I'll be coming back to get a girl.
Right.
And we used to put them down. Barbara Daniels, you remember, way back, we used to have, my peoples are there, you got your peoples. These are the teams that used to come into Bermuda way back, not no junior players.
Right.
This
Manchester City,
BFU.
yes, that's
Haiti
Haiti,
and the BFU.
and among you got, yes, and who's the England team you got there? Manchester
Manchester United.
United.
Yeah.
That's where we used to have, not junior players
Right.
coming.
Right.
We used to have
The
England's
teams.
Premier Division
Yeah.
players.
Yes. Yeah.
And when they came, they found out that the fellas that train when they knock off from work, they used to go back and say, when you go to Bermuda, you best take your very best. Only George Bass and all them, they've been here,
Right.
because they couldn't leave them over there, because they got embarrassed when they got here. And some of them did.
Right.
I had a good session with Social Club. I became, say, roster, but I took a lot of abuse playing the game. But I don't mind, because it's not my hurt that makes me. It's me.
Right.
So I learned from that coming through that made me a strong fella, playing the game, and at the same time, not getting picked because I had locks. But when it came to training, I used to train with the old fellas and run down flats, run back down the park, run from the park back up here. But you have a lot of games on.
Mm.
While you're chasing your clothes, you think. You turn your back, your boys will took your clothes and brought them up here and hung them in your pool. Right across your pool still there. And you gotta find your way up the road, going in the trees so nobody would see you.
How many times did you do that to your teammates? You're
Well,
picking on everybody else.
I had to get in to get me. I say from the senior players coming down, they really showed us that as juniors, you can't be rude. And you have to respect your elders. If not, your elders can give you a wallop.
Yeah.
And it kept you on the tracks. But as it went along, I call it Devonshire Coats, used to be Devonshire Coats, PHC, Social Club, used to be about 4 teams. First, well, Ducky Rangers. First, we went Ducky Rangers before Social Club was B division there.
Right.
Ducky Rangers, when they broke up, that's when we got Bobby Daniels, Early Ritson. Early Ritson used to play right wing for Ducky Rangers, I believe. When he came Social Club, Mr. Brimmer, Robertson, all them fellas turned Early Ritson from a right winger to a goalkeeper. And he was one of Bermuda's best goalkeepers around. The players that we had then, we ain't got no players around like that no more.
Love the game.
Yeah, love the game, and your player next door to you, you can't play without him. And them fellas were like, you can be a dribbler and a snake as much as you want. One, if Mr. Brimmer tell you, let me see you snake another person and see what would happen. And if you go try to beat the next person, he'll call you off the pitch. And he have you sitting for a couple of games to let you know that what they say good. It had the junior players coming up down where we were directed by the old fellas that came. We were strong. It's just that we fell back down. This is the one. This is this one here. This is one of Social Club's old fellas. One of the fellas that came up after.
Oh, that's from the first
Yes.
team.
That's
Brian Benson.
Brian Beans, yes. This is ours here.
Yeah, this
I've got
junior.
just a couple here.
Yeah, this is junior team here.
And this is me and the abuse. National squad,
Uh-huh.
I used to play for the national squad when Suriname used to come up here. We used to go there. We had Haiti. We had all top teams, not what I got today.
Right.
That's soft today. We had all quality that came in, no B division, no junior division. First class players getting paid. We're Social Club and all the rest of the footballers in Bermuda. Paid, if it was hard work training, that's the pay you got.
Sure.
Sunday, if you were good enough, you played.
Sure.
But that was the best of, I say Social Club for me coming up is how they made me strong, that you couldn't play around.
Yeah.
And whatever they say, good.
Yeah,
Them
that's
old
right,
fellas
yeah,
were.
Jump over because obviously the men were strong and leading the way, but here comes these ladies playing softball. How much pressure were you ladies putting on the men to make sure that they kept their run going and you actually caught up?
We caught up and passed.
Oh boy. Okay.
That's where the old boys are.
So you became the leaders of the club.
Yes, we
Yeah.
did.
Okay. So take us through a little bit of that time when obviously you ladies are around and you're very strong and teams are trying to beat you. Now you're the one with the target on your back. Before when you first started, you were chasing everyone else, but now you're the ones with the target. So take us through those times.
There's times when we had the problem with other teams. We made up our mind that we wanted to play softball. We wanted to be champs. Never been a champ, always wanted to be a champ, but that's the way I felt. And that's the way I got my team. All of us being together every time. Whatever we did it together. Whatever argument we had, we did it together.
Yeah.
Even crying, we did that together. And we stayed strong. We put ourselves whereas nobody's better than us. We are the Jets, and that was the name,
Mm.
Jets. We just let people know we're out there to play, we're out there to win. And they got mad at us afterwards because we was winning every night we came out.
Oh, okay.
We even won whereas we played the Bluebirds.
Mhm.
We played the Bluebirds, and we became triple crown.
Oh.
They didn't like that, and that was a game that those girls really put their mind into because they had us 3-0. And if those three games they won, and we only had one, we had to come back. We did leave that night crying. We came up here and we cried. We all came inside of this room
Mm.
and talked all night because we had to go back the next night. And we made up our mind we were going to show them who were the champs.
Mm.
And we did it.
Sure.
We won that tournament.
Okay.
And that's why I could say that we're the best. I've always considered Switch Club Jets the best. Even when I walk the street today, we are the best because people remember who we are.
Mm.
They stop us in the street. Even times I'm walking in the street or just parking my car, people see something. Elsie Mae, all right, big dumb lefty, you're the champ. But I consider myself as the team, not just myself.
Right. Right.
Because that was my girls.
Mm.
Without them.
Yeah. Things when we talk about leadership, and you had others that led before you would have gotten to the team, but give us a sense of some of the guys that were leaders in Social Club when you were coming through the first team.
We had Barbara Daniels, Dick Dean, yeah, you had Mickey Keynes, right? You had Earthly Richardson, that was goalkeeper, Dennis Wainwright,
Ray Willie,
and
Gregory Willie,
Ray Willie, yeah.
Gregory Willie.
Yeah, I mean, the way they moved together, stayed together, really was one that helped us because we saw what we had to do in order to win. You can't go and do things on your own. We had to do it as a group
Mm.
so that we know what each other wants to do when they feel when they do certain things. And I gotta tell you that Search Club's the only team in Bermuda never lost to a touring side and got the highest record of beating a touring side, 12-0 of BA Field.
Okay.
And we never lost to a touring side.
Okay.
And Bermuda first went away on an international game to Iceland. They had a training match with Search Club. They had 5 Search Club players, and they still lost. That's right. I'm telling you, without BA.
Right.
Yeah. And they had Dennis Wainwright, which was Search Club had 2 goalkeepers
Right.
that they used to just change every week. Only when they played PAC, they wouldn't let Dennis Wainwright play. He was scared of my brother Leroy and Bummy.
Oh.
Early Richmond. I'm serious, early Richmond. And it's right, one thing.
Oh,
And it rubs off on guys, big guys coming up.
right,
And up to today, we are still the same.
right. Okay.
We don't see each other sometimes for a long time, but if you walk across, you just think that I've been there all night.
Right.
You know, we see each other every day, but we don't.
Yeah.
But together as a family, you know, it's still here.
Right.
And I can tell players that to play good football, first of all, you gotta love the game. Money don't make you play good.
Right.
Because at one time, John did ask about coming around so he could play for money. So I said to him, I said, listen, bro, before that, I need a cabinet built. He said, but I ain't no carpenter. I said, well, I'll give you money and you can make you a footballer neither. So, you know, and that's what I'm just trying to say. First, you get come to because you want to play.
Right.
You know?
Right. Right. I'll come back to Mal because when we look at your time playing, and you said you were denied the opportunity to play for Bermuda because you grew dreads. How much determination did you have after that to make sure that people then started saying, why isn't this guy picked?
But I did get picked. I
Okay.
did. I rep. There's one right here, Suriname. We've
Oh,
been
they mentioned
Suriname. I've been to America about 3 times playing for Bermuda.
Right.
But then Locks were in Bermuda
Right.
until Skill Kill came here. And that's when they find out it's not the locks that makes a man.
Mm.
Because when you saw him on the field, you didn't call out no abuse names to him.
Right.
And I used to say, well, I love it because it makes me hurt you. And then, oh, them so something you couldn't have this. You got abuse in Bermuda.
Mm.
But I just kept it because it's what type of life it gave me. It improved my life. I wasn't looking for nobody else's life. My life.
Right.
It improved me. And I'm glad I'm still the same way today. And this didn't have nothing to do with football. It's what's inside the house to do with the football.
Mm.
And today, Locks is just another herd. But for me, it's not like that. That's my life.
Right.
And I enjoy it. And when I get out there to play, my whole heart is there. I'm playing with this year when United came here, I was young.
Right.
And I was playing with Bobby Simons, Terrence Russell, all them fellas, when they Air Dome, that's when these teams came to Bermuda.
Mm.
And I played. So I knew that my football, for me, I enjoyed it. And what other people said, they might didn't like my hairstyle or anything, but they couldn't say nothing about my football.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
And if they say wearing locks make you smoke air, you couldn't tell me that you smoke that. Tell somebody that I smoke air. Take me for a run and see how good you are. And train every day.
Mm.
One thing about Souls Club juniors, if you come training with the old fellas, you do just what the old fellas do. Work hard.
Mm.
Ain't no sitting down. And as of today, we were training 7 days a week, I call it. Today, these guys got trouble training 4 hours a week
Right.
for football. And they want to know why the sport's going. You didn't have nobody here. It ain't nobody to show these fellas. I don't know what coaches they got. They pick, if you're playing, you better know your players. So a coach could be a coach, but if you don't know your players, then you're not going to put your best foot forward. I can't see it if you don't know your players.
Right. Right. Right.
And most teams today, very few fellas can kick for Kenny can.
Mm.
Ask how many footballers run in there.
I don't think it's too many.
Ricky Miners and all them fellas from St. George's, oh, Thompson and St. George's, the fellas that you played with. Me, I'm good. I'm still 4 feet.
Right.
So everybody was 6 feet over me. But when I got the ball, I can put you 6 feet down there on the ground,
Right.
and you lay out on the ground. And I really scared. That's one thing I was taught by them old fellas. Train in the mud, I'll catch you in a pond. You feel the water used to be higher than the road. And you sweep some off and you play in the rest of the mud. Yeah, and that time the ball used to get heavy.
Yes.
Give these young guys a ball like that today to kick, they wouldn't know what to do with it.
Mm.
But it shows that how far as the players today, I would say, well, Bermuda ain't got nothing in it for the players today but a trip. Because you have guys that go away, but they ain't got from her yet to get out there. Because the discipline that you gotta get, you gotta pick it up from her before you get out there.
Yeah.
Because if you got it her, it's easier when you get out there. But most of them, they think football is just kicking a ball. But if you don't know your players, that's why football is finished all around the world.
Sure.
It's finished.
Yeah. I
I'll
mean,
go cricket.
Troy, and when we look at hear some of these stories that have been told, and you probably witnessed quite a bit of it. But how does that resonate for you? And how do we generate some of this for the future guys and the guys that are at the club now?
Well, I say every time down around you hear a new story, so I'm pretty sure it's many more than I need to know. But listen to how they interacted and the commitment level, not just to football, but to each other's growth in life, was one of the things that I see why Social Club is the way it is. And the mandate, when I listen to the older executives talk, and they're saying, whatever sport the members want to do, then they enter. It's not, we have football to have members. And so you start to see that it's more important than just the sport. It's the actual whole person and the whole life. That's the most important thing. And if they're good or would like to do something that's positive, then you have to be fully behind them to make sure that they can enjoy that as well. So that's like, for me, one of the biggest things that I get out of being at Social Club and when I talk to the young people, because you can only do sports for a short period of your life. And if you're not learned to be a good person or how to deal with life while playing football or sport in general, and then after life, then you're going to have a lot harder time when the thing that you enjoy the most you can't do.
Right. We're going to wrap up with, outside of that comeback, when you're in the spot now, what was the most memorable game for the Jets?
Well, we had so many memorable games.
Oh, yeah?
We did.
Usually one stands out. Usually one. When you're dominating like that, and you might find yourself down 3 or 4 0 in a game, and then all of a sudden you got this comeback. That didn't happen.
Like I said, we had a lot of memory games, and I don't know if you want to put Larry here, because Larry was our coach, and maybe he knows which memorable game.
Yeah.
Because all our games are so beautiful. We had to fight for what we wanted. It's never easy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's welcome in Mr. Darrell.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Well, the question was only for that she talked about the comeback to win the Triple Crown, but obviously there's got to be memorable games that one would remember. You know,
There's one game when I was coaching. I think we won a game the night before. We celebrated or something. So we played the Western Stars. It was it was next shop.
mhm,
And so the girls, my girls, they used to go out, come out, party and party. But this game here, they just couldn't get it right.
mm,
Couldn't get it right. So I'm making off as a head coach on third base. And that same night, I got thrown out of the game because of my abuse. I'm not being abusive fellow.
right,
And they won the game 1-0. That was a memorial game I knew
right,
because they was out all night
right,
drinking and whatever they party.
right.
And I was getting really irritated because everybody was beating the Western Stars.
Right.
That means 12 up, 14 up. And I got involved with the Ray O'Leary was the referee at the time. I'm an
Umpire.
umpire.
Uh-huh.
He's umpire and he threw me out of the game. And I think Nicole Jones became the manager.
Okay.
Coached that night and ended up in the one night.
Mm, mm,
1-0.
yeah. Now, what would you say would be the game that you remember the most?
Oh, boy, I playing for the national team way back up Prospect.
Right.
When Mexico, it was Mexico, Barbados, spoke his team. They came up here, juniors. This is the junior football.
Yeah.
When they had the junior
68.
tournament, yeah.
68.
Youth tournament.
Mexico, yeah, it was about 5 teams that came here. Where we had 5 teams that are guests, and Bermuda's national team was working. We used to have to go work mornings. They don't go back up to the camp
Right.
where they were staying, and that's where we were staying. But we used to had to get up mornings and go work until one day, Graham Adams, coach, he told me, fellas, nobody go work, nobody go this morning. I'm gonna get BFA to solve this problem because the touring teams, they need somebody to guide them around.
Right.
So they got it all settled where we got off for the time. And we were sporting all rounds and Georges to have fun. First thing mornings, we're going down bottom of War Camp there, down to Grundy Swim. It was lovely. But when it came to the finals of National Stadium, most children today, they didn't know what Prospect was way back there.
Yeah.
That like Devin Shrek at the up on top of the hill. If you don't come early, you better climb the trees to see, because you couldn't find no room.
Right.
But today you can go anytime you find a seat. But them days, whatever sport was out, if you don't go early, you ain't getting no seat. You have to crawl up or go in the tree to look out.
Right.
And Prospect, you know how Prospect Hill was.
Yes.
That hill and all around was nothing but and people.
Yeah.
And it's the people that encourage the players that if you're down 1-0, you can't afford to embarrass your people.
Mm.
That's how the players used to think. And as coming up in the juniors like that, that's how I look at it.
Sure.
I love to win. I don't like to lose.
Uh-huh.
And I came up with a good group of fellas from social club that not just got a lot of slaps upside the head. They taught you a lot.
Yeah.
That's about growing up with the club.
Mm.
Like I look at it today, most fellas don't spend times around a club. And if you want your club to support you, you gotta support the club.
Thank you very much.
And that's where a lot of people fall back. Where the clubs struggle is because the people, even the players, you want to play, but you don't want to become a member, or you don't want to pay for it. But that's what it is if you want to be out there.
Mhm.
And I think as Bermuda goes, is the coaching is gonna make it better, but at the same time, I think the referees are gotta take control of the game and players, because it don't sound. When I was coming up, if you let go of F, Croco and O'Leary and them fellas give you one warning.
Yeah.
And you could curse to yourself, but don't let them hurt you,
Mm.
because they're gonna send you off the field. But today, that's all you heard.
Yeah.
And I look at that the refs are there, but they're not making the players know that they're in charge.
Mm.
And that's where I think for sport is falling backwards. Even some of the coaches. Well, none of Ronnie, when we were young, you better not let them tell us that word.
Mm.
But if you're playing for a club and you're on the field with the jersey on, and you let go, it doesn't look good for the club.
Yeah.
And most clubs, I don't think they explain it to the players that you're not just embarrassing yourself, you're doing it to the clubs.
Mm.
And we have to take charge of the refs. If you're going to be a ref, don't be scared of somebody calling your names, somebody.
Right.
What's right has got to be done right.
Yes.
Because what football is going backwards.
Mhm.
Look at the girls. You don't even have a girl division, ladies division in Bermuda. But you look at that football team who they practice with. All the little girls. But they're doing a lot better than the men.
Mm.
And it's something that the women that ain't got, I said they only play amongst themselves. It's not like they got a whole, each club has got a woman team. And we fellas are still, look, got trouble beating a school team now. And all before, as I was coming up, the word was when you go to Bermuda, football, cricket, whatever sport it is, you better take your very, very best.
Mm.
Because if not, you get embarrassed. But today, they bring our national team playing some school junior team. That's what I call it.
Mm.
So we're not going ahead, we're going back.
Right.
I call it where the refs, the coaches, everybody got to get more stricter with these players. Because it doesn't even sound too sharp when on the field, the words go out, and you got a lot of young children going out. And that's how you want these children to come up. If they play football, they're going to act just like the old ones. So something has to be done in sports.
Right. Okay. All right. So let's Pinks, give us one of your most memorable matches.
I had a few, but one game that helps turn, well, I won't say help turn me around, but it was when Tudio and I played for Bermuda against PAC. They just came back from England. They had won the triple that year.
Mm.
And so we just seen a chance to win. BFA officials, president there came in, called him and I out. So he says, well, look, if you two don't shine now, what about still youngsters? We don't know what your football can be like, playing for Bermuda. So, I was always ready to fight. So I told him, it's all right. So I told listen, boy, when you go in the field, just you and I playing, don't pass the ball to them. And when we got at halftime, we was leading. I had scored a goal, and we set up too.
Mm.
And after that, we never really played together for the national team, but we went on tours together.
Mm.
And now we play it. If I start, he can start. Right? They want to bring him on, they brought me on. Even if I had to stop, score the goal. And, that's the way, I mean, I remember that because I was just a youngster and we was loving the game. We used to train together, do things. And we used to think, well, there were a lot of clubs to do with football.
Right.
And all of a sudden, if you come up, oh, man, what not very well, not enough, say, good enough to vote yet.
Right.
And they tell me how they don't know about international games or for playing for music can go. I mean, that really helped us to build more. We decided to show them that, hey, you know, but also when I had something when I was playing school football, playing Barkley,
Mm.
right? And we was we played Churchill,
Right.
and they had the big stars. Clyde played, Dirt, Oli Beef played in Grill, all these guys. And Barkley had four players. Myself, Johnny, Jimmy Painter, I can't remember who it was, and somebody else. And we bailed them.
Yeah.
7-4.
Whoa.
Yep. And that's when I got about 2, 3 girls. One drove from the halfway line, round Bully Beef.
Mm.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. But see, I like that, like, when I was younger, my brother, Elsie, had me down, well, I went down, first go down the park, watch, football get again. So he called me and said, listen, if you want to be a dribbler, first of all, you got to beat me. If you can't beat a forward, you can't dribble. And that's where I learned how to dribble.
Mm.
I tried, I was still small, tried first time, I said, yeah. So it made you think, it made me think. And it's got this, got passing. And after that, I thought I beat everybody. And I played that way at times.
Mm.
Because I practiced that way, dribbling the ball.
Mm.
Learning how to dribble with your head up, your eyes good on.
Right.
Your head up. Let your head down like this. Let your head like this, your eyes that's good.
Mm.
I learned how to use my eyes, above moving my head.
Right.
And, a lot of other things, but football had helped me a lot in football.
Sure. Sure.
I was coming up, and the members around here, they helped me, and they talked about football, talked about life, and you learn to be respectful. They understand you. Yeah, okay, you disagree, boom, boom, and finish. It's not this thing of and nobody don't want to listen. Yeah, you learn to listen,
Mm.
right? You say your part, and and don't always think for somebody, and because until being small, so sometimes people don't see you, so you gotta make sure they hear you. So I talk loud, right? And that's where it happened. That's where I do talk loud at times.
Right.
That's when we trying to get a pint of course or whatever.
Right.
It's because the older people told me, yeah, if you're in the car, people can't see you, so you gotta make sure they hear you.
Right. Right.
You know,
Yeah. So Troy, give us a sense of what when you were young, what game, no matter what it was, sport for the club, stands out for you.
I mean, I remember the halftime games.
Mm.
So back then, you know, us youngsters, we used to play on the side while the game was going on.
Right.
So we didn't really watch the game a whole lot. We were just waiting for the halftime whistle. When the whistle blew, we were all on the field.
Right.
And that's the things I remember mostly. One game I really remember, when Search Club played out Davis Iraq and Harold Maderas actually dislocated his collarbone. That game sticks out to me. I don't remember the score. I'm not even sure who they were playing, but I just remember when they lifted him off and the team all came and when they went into the changing room, and then they decided to go back on the field. I remember that vividly.
Mm.
And, you know, all the children that were there, we all stayed in there until the ambulance came. So we were just sitting in there we weren't saying nothing, we was just sitting there. And he was just sitting there, benches up, and we were just waiting. And that's one of the games I remember the most from when I think I was about 3 years old, maybe 3 or 4.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to say thank you very much for you all joining this evening, taking us down this social club memory lane. Maybe once again we could do it. Talk to others another time.
Sure.
But again, thank you very much. Enjoy your evening.
All right, thank you.
Good.
I think